Hey-oh.
I still can't listen. Everybody, welcome to Bass and Brews. Paul will admit he's not one for like quick jokes or digs, but right before we started this, he laid out probably the best joke he's ever done on this show. And I wish you guys could have heard it because it was.
I was hoping it got in the recording because I was like, dude, that's got to go in.
Dude,
that's just going to be the very beginning of this. It's just like.
Well, if y'all don't remember last year's Halloween episode, Alex wasn't here. And I had Paige.
Yep.
I had Matty
You
Ice.
had the
and
Tiny
we
Two
had Tiny Two Poles, and I told them before we started, I said, all right, it's our Halloween episode. Everybody dress up in their Halloween costume. And they all showed up in Halloween costumes, and I didn't. And it was wonderful. And everybody came out of, Matty Ice and Tiny came out of their Halloween. But Paige, for like 2 hours,
stayed in a
wore that fucking
stormtrooper
helmet the whole time and sounded like a stormtrooper. And then she got away without doing the shotgun round.
Again.
And she said, hey, y'all show everybody your feet. And we all showed her feet, and she signed off.
God.
Smart woman.
Nice try, Diddy. Nice try. That's all I'm
Right.
say.
All right, everybody. It's Bass and Brews. If you can't tell by the voice, we've got, Bass and Brews' favorite, Alex Rudd, on today. And I was just mentioning, like, we have these great anglers on. And Rudd's my favorite because not only is he a great angler, but I hate talking fishing with him. So we're going to talk about nothing but spooky shit tonight.
I love that.
Yes, and this is why I love Rudd, because he's one, Rudd's always down to do a podcast. Two, he's always down to do a podcast that isn't about fishing, and we can talk about everything else.
Yeah,
like,
I wrote a little podcast called Alex Rudd Fishing where we barely talk about fishing. So it's
exactly.
Awesome. I love doing it. My favorite thing.
Hey, so before we get into everything real quick, make sure everybody sign up if you want to help at patreon.com/Bass and Brews. Gets you signed up to get access to Last Call with Alex and Paul, the Patreon exclusive live show once a month.
You almost said Alex and Alex.
I know, I did. I almost went Alex and Rudd, but that'll be later. We'll announce that at the end of the year. But anyways, yep. And when you sign up for that, you also are eligible to win Paul's shit. Remember all those crankbaits that I promised Paul earlier in the year? Well, guess what? I'm not sending it to him. I'm sending it to you guys. So if you want to win Paul's shit.
Have you sent out last month's box?
Yes, not this month's though. Listen, and then also, actually, for November's Win Paul's Shit giveaway, Tactical Fish Co. Tactical Fish Co. is sponsoring it. They were going to send Paul a bunch of baits, but instead, you can win fucking Paul's baits that he was going to get. So that's Patreon.com.
That's okay. I got a crack in the Hobie, so I don't know if I'm going to be fucking kayak.
Well, you're not going to be fishing. We're going to cover that because our favorite person texted me to make sure that I bring up about how your fat ass broke your Hobie. But before we get there, on a somewhat serious note, head over to fanatics.com. They are still running their kind of charity merch event for North Carolina. As we all know, a lot of areas were affected. And Fanatics is being awesome. They've got a shirt and a sticker, and 100% of the proceeds are going to help the folks of Western North Carolina. So,
and it is Fin, Fin Addicts. Don't confuse it with Fanatics. Completely.
That's a whole different website.
Yeah,
whole different website.
Not even the same.
But yeah, Fin Addicts, like the fucking fish fins.
Yeah. So. In honor of
DICT, not DICK.
That's a whole different dick. Hey, guess what? Look,
just making sure they don't. I mean, it is Bass and Brews. They might type in Fin Addicts.
Listen,
what was the Instagram page you told me to go look at last time we talked?
Butt snorkelers.
Yeah. I just love that.
Butt snorkelers.
That shit is awesome. Matter of fact, my first ever viral video. Instagram and Facebook had over 1 million views, still kind of going. TikTok is almost 1 million. And that guy ended up reaching out to me and we conversate back and forth a little bit.
About butt snorkeling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not about the website, not butt snorkeling in particular.
Good old butt snorkeling. I
I
just
know.
love the term butt snorkeling. I just needed to hear Paul say butt snorkeling.
Butt
I can't
snorkeling.
wait till that's an Olympic sport, butt snorkeling.
Listen, dude, we're almost there. So it's not at this point, it's not going to be a surprise.
Listen, when Diddy goes from jail to being on the podium for winning a gold medal in butt snorkeling,
I'm pretty sure he wasn't snorkeling. No
Oh,
butts.
God. They're going to bring in baby oil wrestling and butt snorkeling just for Diddy. He's gonna podium in both of those damn events.
It is a really good page if you're having a bad morning or a bad midday.
you go to
Or
Diddy's
bad
page.
afternoon. Go to butt snorkeling, butt snorkelers on Instagram, and it'll cheer you up.
Listen, and if you're having issues getting your baby oil because of the outrage with Diddy, remember, you can always go to astroglide.com. Use coupon code Babcast. You won't save any money, but we'd really like them to sponsor the podcast.
Just type it in, or don't even type it in. Just email customer service to say my Bass and Brews code is not working, and maybe they'll reach out and say we need to get you one.
I swear, this is going to be one of those things like Tom Segura's podcast, Your Mom's House, and the damn shit with Garth Brooks, where it's like, where's the body, Garth? That's what this is going to be like.
That was such a good one.
Speaking of Astroglide, the only time Alex Rudd has ever been stumped, to my knowledge, is one of the first nights Astroglide made its debut.
Yeah.
It was pre Mary Fuck Kill. It was pre.
It was the first episode.
It was the first episode, and it was Astroglide, Vaseline, or something else. And
Spit.
Rudd was like, no comment.
It was Spit.
I think it was Spit. It was the other one, KY Jelly, Astroglide, or Vaseline. And
listen, after Hawk Tuah Girl, I'm just going to go with Spit because it's made her $12 million. So hopefully,
hey,
$12 million.
Also,
you got to make sure you get it from deep down in the throat, though. So it's lubed up.
Yeah.
Listen, and obviously, this is the episode we're going to have tonight. I just found out today that Sam Darnold, the quarterback of the undefeated so far Minnesota Vikings, is dating the Hawk Tuah girl.
No,
Sam Darnold.
He's not.
Yes, he is. So listen, Dax Prescott, if you want to keep, if you want to stop being a piece of shit quarterback that continues to blow games and look like a piece of shit, maybe you need to get with Hawk Tuah. You need a little Hawk Tuah in your life.
She's taken.
Hawk Tuah.
She's taken.
I'm sure there's other Hawk
Spit
Tuah
on that
girls.
thing.
Spit on that thing.
All right. Well, we're here with Alex Rudd. This is the Halloween episode.
Alex Rudd
it's
is here with us.
time for spooky shit. And guess what? We're going to sound fancy. Look at this. I got a little Halloween music because we're going to talk about some goblins, some ghouls, some. Oh, Paul fucking had to ruin it. You are the fucking worst, Paul. And he can't even turn his shit off. So we're going to get a copyright strike.
No,
because
it's 6 seconds.
He's the worst. Anyways, we're here to talk about some spooky stuff in and outside of fishing, in and outside of the woods. But before we get there, Rudd, it's been a hot minute since you've been on. What have you been up to? How's life, buddy?
Oh, dude, I'm just doing my thing. I'm enjoying myself. Life is too short to sit around and worry about anything, so I don't worry about anything, and I just keep on fishing. I keep on doing my thing. That's what I've been doing.
My man.
Just enjoying it. I'm heading to Lake Gunnersville next week, going back. I was there week before last and had so much fun punching mats, catching big ones that I was like, told Bethany, I was like, let's book an Airbnb and go back. And she's like, all right. So we're taking the dog. It's going to go on a little trip. It's going to be fun. And then wrapping up my fundraiser. Got a fundraiser going on for North Carolina, East Tennessee myself, but we're done. No more entries, please. I appreciate everybody. I really do. I appreciate everybody. Like, I say that with so mumuch gratitude because after we hit almost $9,000, we're at like $8,600. It was one of those things like we had to kind of cut it because like there's a certain amount of money that you almost get so much that you don't know what to do with it anymore.
Yeah.
We're kind of starting to enter that domain, which is amazing. I'm not going to complain at all, but it's going to be awesome because we've got 6 families that we need to clothe, and we're going to be able to fully clothe those families and then be able to do so much more. So it's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
We talked about it last week at the Russ. It's so awesome to see the fishing and the kayak fishing communities reach out and do their part to help folks. And I love hearing the stories of that because it might not be all the way on the news, but people are still out there fighting to stay upright and all that. And I love seeing all the anglers and the kayak fishermen getting out there.
North Carolina mountains.
Yeah.
So I mean, they went from
getting wiped out with a hurricane,
30 inches of rain, to now people without power, and it's in the 30s at night, and it was a pretty quick turnaround for fall for us right now. That the cold weather rolled in last week sometime, and it's been pretty chilly. So you got
and that's the thing. Like, we were talking to those people up there. Like, I think two things that we really need to be cognizant of, and not to go down this rabbit hole too far, but like, number one, it's just like everything else. This is going to be forgotten in 6 months.
Yep.
And it's just because it's the world we live in. We're freaking just like blasted with information 24/7. And so it's hard to even remember what we're doing during the day, nonetheless, like some dude in the mountains that we don't know. But then number two, it's exactly what Paul said. Like, it's got cold, and it's got cold quick. And the thing is like, where I'm taking all the supplies it's called Roan Mountain, and it's at about 2,000 foot elevation. And so it's literally like 20 degrees colder up there. And it was a low of 35 here at my house last night. So it was like a low of 25 up there, if not a little bit chillier. And so these poor people, they have no power. They're probably not going to have power for 6 to 7 months, and they have no way to heat their house. And then we've got 6 families who literally do not have a home. They lost everything. And so being able to help those people is going to be huge. And you're right, dude, seeing the fishing world come together. And then I think that's the coolest thing about this whole situation, is that folks are helping folks. It really shows that there's good people left in the world, and that people really want to help people. And I think that that's like what the world needs right now, is a good dose of like, hey, there's still good people that want to help each other. And that's exactly what this situation has showed. And it's awesome. So I love it.
Yeah, we had a guest that was lined up last week or the week before out from the Beaufort, South Carolina area. And we ended up, going to reschedule him because he started running supplies up there. And so he gathers up a bunch of supplies in Beaufort. He's been running them up to North Carolina, Virginia border. I think he's been down at South Carolina, North Carolina border. But he comes up, runs stuff up, spends a couple days there. He's been hiking creeks here recently. D.W. Lewis on Facebook, if you want to find him.
Badass.
And he's been doing that, and then comes back and gets supplies and goes back. So and that's from Beaufort, South Carolina. That's a haul for him. It's probably 5-6 hours to go up there and do that. But he's been doing a lot of stuff.
And I want to harp on not harp on. I just want to echo what Rudd said. Like, we're going to keep talking about this at the intro of every show, because exactly, this is easy to be forgotten in our like 48 to 24 hour news cycle. Where there's still people, and I know we're lighthearted on Bass and Roots, and we're going to continue to be. Trust me, we're going to get silly here soon. But it's important that us as outdoors people help other outdoors people, help people around us. And we don't want any of these people forgotten, because guess what? Who's not going to forget? The people of Kentucky, because I said they can go fuck themselves. And I get it. I take it back. I take it back,
West
Kentucky.
Virginia.
I meant West Virginia.
Kentucky,
go fuck yourself, West Virginia. But no, in all seriousness, like, we're going to keep bringing it up until everybody's kind of at a stable point, because it is very important. These are our listeners. These are people that we all like to hang out with. Everybody in general, these are the type of folks you love to have a beer with and go fishing. These are just honest, hardworking people who need some help, and we can help. So
yeah, and we had, we've got a lot of listeners in the Western North Carolina area. Matter of fact, Dustin, who we talked about a few weeks ago,
hands-on hand jobs,
and he lives in Asheville. He was boots on the ground Saturday and spent 3 weeks out there working. And then good friend of the show, past guest co-host Coley, contacted me with somebody in California that had medical supplies she wanted to donate. I got them in touch with Dustin, and they were able to get medical supplies out to at least a couple different areas. I wasn't part of that conversation. I just made the connection. That makes me feel good. One, being in North Carolina, and two, having this platform that was able to connect at least one person to another person to help. And so that, that's great, and that's awesome.
And that's the thing. I mean, and that's where I'm kind of at with all of this, is like, I've been given a really cool platform, and like I said, I want to be a conduit for cool shit, but I also know that, Like there's almost a responsibility that I have, and I don't want to be like that person. Like you hear a lot of celebrities will say like some political shit because they're just like, I'm a celebrity and you should listen to me. Yeah, you can kiss my ass. This is like a real dude talking about real shit and real people. And like I feel like that it's really important to use the platform that I've been given to just remind people like people need help. These are people
it's also home for you too, Alex.
Oh, dude, that's
Eastern
it.
Tennessee is not far from where you are. It is.
Yeah.
It's not like you're sitting in Montana.
No,
This hit close
dude,
to home.
40 minutes from me, I can take you to a place that literally no longer exists.
Man,
and these are places like that's the craziest part. And that's why, like, it almost like, dude, literally gives me cold chills just saying that because, like, these are towns that I have visited multiple times. These are rivers that I have fished like my whole entire life. These are places where I've made like awesome memories with people that I love. And literally, they don't exist anymore, or if they do, they're completely reshaping. Like nature has taken them back, and that's where we're going. Up in Roan Mountain. I mean, it's an hour and a half away from me, but that place, that's the school is actually who I'm working with. It's Cloudland Elementary School. Raised $3,000 for the Punt Foundation, which is the pediatric cancer foundation I work with, and so those people like went above and beyond to raise money for what I do. And so now it's time to return the favor and go help those people because there's kids up there, there's families up there that lost everything that they've got. And like, that's the crazy part is I text my buddy Chris, who's a teacher at Cloudland, and I texted him when everything was going on, and I didn't hear from him for 4 days.
Oh, that's scary as fuck.
Dude, and that was it. I'm sitting here going, damn. And I'm like seeing the news come out and I'm seeing everything and I'm thinking, shit. Please don't be like, because the thought passes your mind, like, please don't be dead. You know what I mean? And I finally get a text from him, and it essentially said, "I'm good. My parents' house is good, but there are people who have literally lost everything."
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, I'm like, glad he's. And then John Hammonds was the same way as a biologist I've had on my podcast. I texted him, and I didn't hear from him for 3 or 4 days. And then when I finally heard from him, his wife is actually the director of the TWRA's officers. So like she was out there helping rescue people. He starts sending me videos of them like pulling people out of houses, pulling dogs out of the river. And then he was telling me that a friend of his house just right down the road had 9 feet of mud inside of his house. Literally, like the whole basement of his
whole floor. Yeah.
And the whole like bottom floor of his house is mud. And like literally they're looking at it going, like, you just tear it down. Like there's nothing that we can do for that. Like literally the earth has reclaimed it and you just tear it down and we rebuild. And so, yeah, Paul, you're right, dude. I mean, this is right in my backyard. These are people that I know, places that I've gone, like businesses that I have, gone and visited, restaurants I've went and ate at, and like they don't exist. They're gone, like forever. Just like gone to nature. They're at the bottom of a river now, and it's just insane.
Hey, speaking of this, one more check in on Alex Rudd before we get to going into, because I can see Alex Castanuega over there itching to get his shit started. Because he sent us fucking homework an hour and a half before the podcast. Little short asshole. But Rudd, you've been out of teaching almost 2 years now.
3
years? Okay. Yeah. Close enough. 2, 3,
Way to go, Paul.
Close enough. Do you miss teaching at this point, or has it been long enough that you're like, I'm cool where I be?
No, I'm real cool where I be. I miss the kids. I miss the interaction with the kids. I loved my kids. Every kid that I ever had was like has a special place in my heart because they're just the sweetest little things that ever were. And like, I love the interactions that I have with kids and being able to see the light bulb go off in their head and being able to see them like truly learn something and like me be the person that did that for them. Like that's crazy. But outside of that, no, I don't miss it at all. The bureaucracy and the bullshit of the education system is as bad as any other bureaucracy in America right now, and it's a disgusting excuse for a use of our tax dollars. And that's what I think about it. There's my political statement for that.
I like it.
Yeah.
All you could have said was, I miss it or I don't miss it. I mean, geez, golly.
Well,
you didn't have to turn beet red and get your blood pressure raised.
Bro, listen, I got to get the baseball bat out on that one. Like, I got to swing a little bit. Like, old Rudd doesn't have a beard like this just because, he's a hipster. He's like, it's more like blood from the skulls of my enemies kind of beard. You know what I mean? And so sometimes it's kind of comes out. You know what I mean?
I really wish you would have dyed your beard white and shown up on this podcast tonight as fucking Santa Claus.
I'm there. Hey, I've got a question before we get to Halloween. and it's completely unrelated. And I like how you mentioned the beard. Rudd, how do I deal with the sides of this beard? I haven't touched my beard in 4 months.
You're touching it right now.
Well, I mean, no trimming, right?
Yeah.
But it looks like I want my beard to look like yours, not like the homeless guy to my left, right? I don't want to look like Paul. How do I get it to look good on the side? So I need to trim? Do I just need to let it keep going? Like what's the trick?
Yeah,
I understand I have to grow more, but there's got to be a transition.
I got my beard's dick hairs. So
I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you, Paul. You have a shitty beard. Nobody asked for your advice.
Good advice on
I asked
beard. How to make your beard right, because mine's the same ball hair that you shave off of your nuts is what's on my face.
Paul, the question started with Rudd. What do you do? Not Paul.
Hey, I had to defend.
I didn't ask Rudd. How do you look homeless? That's fucking. I would ask you that, Paul. I'm
just
asking
trying
Rudd.
to defend why you couldn't ask me. Rudd, you can answer his question now before I come across the screen and slap the gray out of his face.
This guy, like, what's the move? Do I just let it keep going, like not trim it at all?
Yeah, so let it get to the point where you look like you've been living in the woods for 6 months.
Yeah.
And then go get a professional barber to trim it. Like, find someone to trim it. I get my hair cut every 2 weeks and my beard trimmed every 2 weeks when I get my hair cut. And like,
all right.
Really, like before I got it trimmed today, she was just like all over the place. But the thing is to get the length, because then you can get the shape. Like once you get the length, you can get the shape, and then oil it really good, and so you want me to go through the whole thing? Like I'll tell you what I
kind of do. Hold on, this is total. Listen, folks, we're gonna get to Halloween.
Fuck this Halloween episode. This is gonna be a beard episode.
We're gonna get to Halloween, but the beard thing, because like I've been doing the underneath, so I don't look like a Yu-Gi-Oh player, like a card player with like a super neck beard, right? I keep that.
Look like Andrew Luck from 2011.
Exactly. So I keep that clean, and I have been using
don't look
the
like
oils.
The neighbor from the Burbs.
I don't. Yeah. That was
all right. So
that was bad, Paul.
Beard maintenance is really simple.
Yeah.
Oil it every single day.
Okay.
Only wash it like every 3 days.
Yep.
Which I know it's like a lot of people are like, "Ooh, that's disgusting." But just guys, ask your wives about it, and they'll tell you. Like Bethany doesn't wash her hair, but like every 4 days because it's like good for it. Your beard's the same
use
way.
Mayonnaise instead of soap too.
Stop.
I would not do that. That's rough.
How you end up with a homeless man beard like Paul.
But what you do, haha, I said do. There it is.
Duke.
What you do is you do get a like a beard wash and a beard conditioner. I use Grave Before Shave. No affiliation with the company whatsoever.
Yeah.
I've just been literally using them for a decade, and it's my favorite. Wash it really good and then condition it really good. And then on the days that I wash my beard, I actually don't oil it. I use a beard butter. It's like a thicker stuff, and it like helps lock. It's essentially you degrease your beard to grease it back again, because the deal with the beard is it's like Paul said, it's kind of like pubes. It's not like your head hair. Like where your head hair, you can get it clean and it's okay. Your beard like craves that oil, and so a lot of people have like scraggly, puffy looking beards because they're not. It literally doesn't have enough oil in it.
Okay,
and so you got to oil it, and so beard oil every day. When I do shower, if I'm not washing it, literally just wash it out with water really good. Like, and if it's nasty, wash it. Obviously, like if you mowed the yard and you got bugs in it, wash it. Like be clean, good smelling, man. Don't be just like a full blown dumbass. But yeah, so oil it every day. And you take care of your beard will take care of you. That's all.
Because I talked to Amanda.
Do you wash your ass every time you wash your beard, or do you alternate?
No, my ass gets washed every day. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you talking about, Paul?
Well, let me tell you something. Alex Rudd can't not shower. Okay. Like I'm one of those dudes, like I must shower. I must use I'm kind of a hippy dippy kind of weirdo. Like Bethany calls me crunchy. Bethany's crunchier than I am, but we're definitely crunchy. Like I'm the dude who signed the petition to get the artificial colors and dyes out of Fruit Loops. I'm that guy.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to like deodorant, no. Full aluminum, full antiperspirant, every chemical known to man. It's going on the armpits because dude, I will sweat through it and I'm not going to smell bad. Like Alex Rudd is not going to smell bad. I'm just not.
Do you shower in the morning or before you go to bed?
I'm a before I go to bed, unless I'm going to do something during the day, and then I get up and clean myself to prepare for that thing that I'm going to do. Yeah, because I'm fishing most of the time, so like. I'm going to go out there and get covered in fish guts and water anyway and be in the water. But then I also cold plunge in the morning. So I kind of get a little wash off in the morning. going through.
Well, I
How
feel
the
like all
fuck
those
did
times.
you find a cold plunge tub big enough for your tall ass?
It is a cattle trough. It is a
Okay.
200-gallon cattle trough.
Okay. What do you did you buy an ice machine or do you have a cooler?
I had a chiller, blew it. Gonna get another chiller, but it's cold enough outside now that I don't need it. So we're just waiting to
All
buy
right. I was
another.
about to say because I know that little fucking tub that
No.
people sell on.
He's too tall for that
I-
shit.
Like
yeah,
Alex,
yeah.
Alex would look like a fetus wrapped up in there to get his body in.
Buddy, I'm stuck. God help me.
Yeah. I'm stuck.
Yeah.
It's not enough
All right.
water. You'd heat it up too fast too.
All right. Well, we got through that. Thank you for that. I'm gonna work on
Hey,
it.
Alex,
I got
what's
the.
this
I got
hat
the
you're wearing?
okay.
Little
Oh.
Alex, what's the hat you're
Yeah.
wearing since the Phillies fucking suck? There it is.
Fuck you so much. You fat fuck. Anyways,
That's okay. Tennessee doesn't even have a professional baseball team.
yeah.
No. Yeah,
Neither
Tennessee.
does Carolina. North Carolina doesn't have
Oh,
one, do
we
they?
got the Braves, thank you.
That's in Georgia, you dipshit.
Yeah, you know what? And that's all we got. So that's who we pull for.
We buy
All
extension for the Braves too, but I don't want
Yeah.
to screw it.
All right, I'm gonna put the Halloween music to talk about the hat. So
Ooh, let me play mine.
stop, Paul. Don't you dare. Anyways, we went to Spirit Halloween, and they had an 80s section, and this hat was there. And I went, you know what? This hat's fucking dope. I'm gonna get
Is
it
a
anyways.
pizza hat?
No, it's like an old. It looks like it's from Saved by the Bell,
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does.
right?
Yeah,
So
it
I
looks like
got
the
it.
Peach Pit, the Peach Pit
Yeah.
guys.
So I
Was that
thought
the
it
Peach
was.
Pit or was that 90210?
That was 90210. But I thought it was cool as shit. And when I got home, Amanda goes, "What is that horrendous thing on your fucking head?" And I was like, "It's my cool 80s hat."
It's a
So now I'm
condom.
wearing it. I'm just wearing it out of spite. But while we're on the topic here, Rudd, do you like Halloween? Is it kind of your
Love
jam?
Love
love it?
Halloween. So my mom, like all throughout my childhood, we had giant Halloween parties, and so like I love me some Halloween. I'm a big Halloween guy.
Okay, I dig it. Paul, what about you? Big Halloween guy or what?
It's not a real holiday. It's in the same boat as Valentine's Day.
Oh,
It's just
good
it's
lord.
Just, it is a waste of time, money, and resources.
Wow, he's gonna be fun
Well,
on
aren't you
this
just
one.
so much fun? Yeah, but you're
Yeah.
great at parties.
Yeah, no shit, right? So when it comes
Shit,
to me,
I take
I
my shirt
fucking
off at parties. I am the life of it.
I'm like
I'm ready
Rudd.
to
I
dance.
fucking love Halloween. I love the little spooky shit. We don't do. I wish I had the willpower to do more decorating. By willpower, I mean just like follow through. Like we have a giant skeleton. He's set up pretty nice. He's in my kayak in the front yard. Looks pretty dope. But that's it.
Of course,
feel
you
like
have
that's
a
enough.
skeleton.
Oh yeah, I love. Oh, I mean, Paul knows me. Like I have skeletons year round around the house, but I love me a
Because that's
skeleton.
the only thing this motherfucker can draw.
That's
He
the only
can't
thing I
draw
can
a
draw.
circle, but he can draw a skeleton.
I said the other day, literally, me and Bethany were having the conversation. I was like, we were
Bethany
sitting at
and
a
I.
whatever. See, it's why I'm not a teacher anymore. We're sitting at a Mexican restaurant, and the Mexican restaurant had like a bunch of like Day of the Dead, like
Yeah.
Yes.
and dude, they had this like whole skeleton mural. And I like look, I told Bethany, I was like, I just love skeletons, like
Yeah.
skulls and bones, and like I love that look
Yes.
and that vibe. Like it's really cool to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
love good boner,
the Day of the Dead stuff is awesome as well
Oh,
because they do skeletons, but then they do it with bright colors.
Yep.
I don't know. It speaks to me. I am not of Hispanic descent, but sometimes I wish I wasn't just
See,
like
that's a
boring.
That's a real
know.
fucking holiday. If we celebrated Day
Sure.
of the Dead instead of Halloween, I'd be all
No,
for it.
Halloween's dope, dude. And Halloween's fun because there's spookies all over the place, right? I love it. And we're going to talk about that tonight. So, but before we get there, Rudd, what do you normally do on Halloween night?
Usually the Halloween party still is
All right.
still is an annual thing. Big Halloween
Yep.
party, big bonfire. Everybody dressed like it's mandatory. You got to dress up. You're never too old to do
Okay.
it. Food, fun, just hanging out, like doing that, and then normally like some scary movies because you got to get you a good. Bethany hates scary movies with a passion, so I always
too.
put them on and force her to watch. And it's normally like I try to get like the real bad ones, like those like what's it, Dawn of the Dead? Not Dawn of the Dead. What's the one where they're in the cabin in the woods and like
It's
the
called
dude-
Cabin in the Woods.
not cabin in the woods.
Wrong turn.
Oh, you're talking about Cabin Fever.
No. What the hell is that movie called? I cannot. It's like slipped my mind.
Jason.
No, it's where they lock the girl in the basement. She's like possessed by the demon, and she's trying to come out. Evil Dead.
Yeah,
that one. The new one too. The old one's rough. The new one is rougher. Like,
okay, hold on. The old one is a classic because it started the whole franchise of Army of the Dead. This whole like cheesy horror. It was amazing.
Yeah, who's the guy in that?
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce
Because
Campbell.
they brought it
Bruce
back
Campbell.
like 10 years ago and had a movie or a TV series
movie?
with him in it.
Well, no, he has a TV series too. Yeah, there's a TV
that
series
was like
as well.
8 or 10 years ago or something. He came back. What was the name of it though?
I can't
remember.
Bruce Against Evil or
Just doesn't
something
he-
like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Isn't he missing a hand or something?
Yeah, he misses a hand. Yeah,
He's got a chainsaw on it. doesn't
Chainsaw.
he does. Yeah.
Okay.
And actually,
Hey,
if
look-
you go back to the earlier ones, at one point he puts an adult toy on that hand too. So it's not just a it's not
Nice.
just an attacking weapon. It's also for love.
Pleasure weapon.
But
Just like my tongue.
I love all of that because I love campy Halloween movies. I am not I don't like the super scary ones because I'm a little bitch. My wife, Amanda, on the other hand, loves it, like as scary as possible, right? But what I do like also, and it made me so every year I listen to, and only like 4 listeners are going to know this, right? But the band AFI, they're like a punk rock band from back in the day, right?
Ooh,
They came
Alien
out
Ant
with
Farm. I love them.
also a great band, but not the one we're talking about.
Okay, sorry.
They came out with an album called All Hallows. It was an EP, and it came out 25 years ago this year, and it made me feel really fucking old. As I played it for my kids. We played every year, and my oldest was like, "Dad, this is real old. It's got to be at least 20 years old." And I was like, "No." And I looked at it. I was like, "Oh shit, this came out in 99."
Yeah.
The 1900s.
Yeah.
Avenged Sevenfold is celebrating their 25th anniversary, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what in the? I'm like, what
So-
happened? Foo Fighters are like their 30th year anniversary.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's
okay,
insane.
I'm done. Like, turn on classic rock, and it's like,
also, The Cure just came out with a new single. Just so if people aren't aware, like,
there you go.
yeah,
That's fun.
out of nowhere. But
Cure's coming back.
right. So we played that today, and we watched a bunch of scary movies today, and one specifically came up, and this is the one. Again, my wife loves them. Mandy, the unfriendly mail lady, loves scary movies. I like the campy ones. I like the Evil Dead style. I like
Killer Clowns from
Scream.
Outer Space.
That one's a good one. Actually, I think campy. I like I Know What You Did Last Summer, like these like mid to late 90s kind of like romper ones.
Yeah,
Those are good.
Yeah,
But
throw a
she-
Still
Caesar
young enough to
in there,
whack off
too.
to the hot
Exactly.
actresses.
But she is petrified of The Exorcist,
Oh,
the
dude.
original Exorcist.
Yep.
So today, slow day at work. So I was working from home, and we watched The Exorcist because it was the only time where she was like, "Well, it's 12
It's
in
not
the
dark.
afternoon. It's
Well,
not dark.
Open all the curtains.
You're gonna be absolutely like." I
Flare on
started like
TV.
I started turning off some lights, and she's like, "Absolutely fucking not. Put all that shit back on."
The kids are gonna run in the room
Yeah.
tonight and
Nope,
be
they were
staring at your wife. In the middle of the night, she's gonna wake up and she's gonna have a flashback.
Nope. She
and-
was like, "Listen, you're going to be in bed with me, and I'm taking NyQuil to ensure that I sleep throughout the night."
Oh, that's a bad idea.
That's a bad idea. She's gonna have
Them
horrible
dreams.
dreams.
She's gonna be in.
Yeah.
She's gonna be in the
no.
Exorcist.
Listen, I didn't tell her,
drinking
and she's
NyQuil.
had some wine, so
Oh,
she's
she's fucked.
ready for a fun night. In her head, with me next to her sleeping soundly. But we watched
You
it,
should fuck
and
with her when you go to bed after the podcast.
I will say, well, I fuck with the whole movie. I start making the sounds from
yeah.
Exorcist. The smash. But then when she's like, "You need to stop," I'm like, "No, I'm just singing the band Korn." Because the band Korn sounded exactly like
It really
the
did.
Exorcist.
Now that I think about it, it really does. Like
It does, right? But I will say, watching that movie in 2024, it's not that fucking creepy.
Really? I need to go back.
You need to watch it.
No,
It's not
fuck
that
that.
creepy. It's
I'm
actually
not
kind of
watching
funny.
that. No.
There's
Lord
some
can
funny.
does it, John. Does it?
Hey, dude, it's the best part where she's just like, "Lick me, you cocksucker," and I'm like, I couldn't stop laughing. And she's like, "Stop, you're ruining it."
Have you seen the previews for the Exorcist 2 or whatever, or the exorcisms. Like it's like the Exorcist, but the new one. Dude, I was at the movie theater and like that preview come on, and I was like a child. I was like, no, dude, I'm not looking. And it's just like, I'm gonna drag you to hell. And I'm like, oh, come on.
Nope.
Like too much. I don't like
too
that.
much. I don't like any of that. The whole Conjuring series, I can't fuck with those. Yes. I can't do it. I don't know if I've ever told the story on the podcast, but like Blair Witch came out and I was in Alaska when that happened. So I didn't know that it was fake.
You told us.
So I didn't know it was fake. I thought it was fucking real. And I was like a 16-year-old or 15 at the time. I thought it was fucking real.
And your grandpa left you to go find hookers at the bar and you were out at the campsite.
Not hookers.
By yourself.
He wasn't going to pay for it. They were just locals and he left me in a camper by myself. Yeah.
But you were 10 at that one. But anyway, semantics.
Was I 10? I can't remember. But yeah, it was
16.
It was, So why we're here and we're talking about movies, we'll start with Paul, even though he hates Halloween. Paul, what are your top 3 Halloween movies?
Killer Clowns from Outer Space is going to be number 1.
Okay.
Going to be number 1.
I like it.
No,
the first Scooby-Doo.
You fucking idiot.
Real, like animated one or like the one with the real
people? The fucking movie, Rudd. The one with Harry Connick Jr. or whoever the fuck he was and Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Okay.
And then my last one is going to be the second Gremlins movie.
Okay. Why the second one?
Because look.
All right.
When I was, I don't know, 8, 9, 10, 11, 18 years old, somewhere in there, my neighbor, best friend growing up, neighbor across the street, they used to rent the Jason and Freddy movies and shit.
Yeah.
And I would watch those, and I'm pretty sure I wouldn't sleep for fucking weeks after that as a child. That shit scares me, and still as an adult. Like, I've told the story about us, Carter and I, last year, about almost a year ago now, going camping at the pond that's out in the middle of nowhere and hearing a big kaboosh in the water like somebody threw a fucking rock, and all I can think about
it's Bigfoot.
Is fucking Jason walking out of the fucking pond, coming up there, and, I've got my handgun, I got all the, and it ain't going to do no good. Anyway, that shit still gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Right. Well, I want to be clear,
but
Paul.
I'm like, motherfucker, somebody's out there, and I just need them to show themselves so we can deal with this, and I hope they're not supernatural.
Well, I want to be clear. We're not talking about, like, the scariest.
Ooh,
I don't know if that's what I said. Hold on. Time out, Paul.
No, I got to finish my...
Oh, my God,
take away the second Gremlins.
He's still keeping Scooby-Doo.
First Jeepers Creepers. Might be one of the greatest horror movies ever invented.
I got to mute you. We can't talk about that. We've talked about why we can't talk about that movie.
Why?
Because the director and writer is a pedophile. So we can't talk about it.
You know what? Fuck him.
Exactly.
Matter.
Nope.
That's what is what he said.
Yeah, that's why we don't talk about it, right? It's like the Polanski
goddamn,
thing.
After this Diddy shit, we can't go be able to talk about music, movies.
Correct.
Nothing.
We're just going to talk about the Bass and Bruce podcast. This is where we actually find our niche.
Is in my top 3. Jeepers Creepers. All right. Jeepers Creepers and Jeepers Creepers.
Like, I got to go.
And Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Okay.
They're comedy horrors.
I was about to say, this is your favorite, not the scariest, your favorite.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
they
perfect.
Are fun.
Okay.
Like, Jeepers Creepers had comedic value in it.
All right.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space had comedic value.
That's fine. It. Okay,
so they were horror-ish, but they were fun to watch.
Horror-ish?
Like, I grew up in the country, and if I saw some bullshit on standing above the corn, like there's some real life instances that I have with those two movies that have happened to me that make me enjoy them because the instances that happened were real. But the ghost, the things weren't real.
All right. So to be clear, Bass and Bruce officially backs everything but Jeepers Creepers. So
that's such a good movie.
I know it is, but the dude's a pedophile. So same question to you, Rudd. What are your top 3 favorite Halloween movies?
Alex, I'm with you, buddy. Put their feet in concrete and drop them to the bottom of the ocean.
100%.
There it is. Top 3 Halloween movies. So number 3, and this is going to kind of be a weird one, kind of obscure, but it's the mood, right?
Yep.
Any of the Harry Potter movies. And I
Okay.
say that because it's like the vibe of fall and winter. Like I always watch the Harry Potter movies. Like will watch them at least once a year, like 1 to 7.
Yep.
And it's because it's like the fall vibe, the Halloween vibe. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it's the vibe, All right, Paul. Yes.
Hey, real quick. In 2006, 2005, I think it was the first ever Harry. No, it was right before the second Harry Potter came out. A guy that lived in my apartment complex had a buddy that dubbed like somebody else doing all the voices and stuff for Harry Potter 1, but it was like rated MA Harry Potter. Like the whole time he'd be like, "I'm Harry fucking Potter." And it was the whole movie. You turn the volume down on the movie, and then you go to your computer and you hit play at the same time on your computer, and it was voiceovers. That was the way that he had to sync it, and it was like it was MA rated.
Love it.
Fucking nasty ass Harry Potter. And I'll tell you what, we went to Harry Potter. One of our good friends loved Harry Potter and went to the movies to see Harry Potter 2. And I drank before we went to the movies.
Of course.
And so the whole time I'm in there being like, Harry fucking Potter, and saying all the other shit I forgot now. And she was so fucking pissed at me after that. Like, absolutely angry. I ruined it for her. That's how big of a Harry Potter fan. But I love Harry Potter only because of the rated MA dub over.
All right.
I will start the series, and it'll be, "Hey, Potter," and by the end of the series, I've got Bobby by the face and like shaking him, going, and it's just it's just the ADHD rage monster list. You can't not help but go down that path. Yeah, so it's funny. It's
so
like
Harry Potter series is number 3.
Number 3 is Harry Potter. Number 2 is probably going to be 28 Days Later.
Okay, wonderful movie.
Greatest movie ever
goodness.
made. Just awesome. Like, and it's one of those movies, like it's a zombie movie, right?
Period movie or something.
No, it's not a period movie. Would you stop? Anyways,
it's the greatest zombie movie ever made.
Yes.
Like, you need to watch it. It's awesome. Like, what it was called Rage, wasn't it? Like Rage was like
Rage.
The virus that spread. Yeah.
There was no slow zombies. They were as fast as fuck because they were so filled with rage. And I remember a specific scene where zombies are running at the guy, right? And mind you, the actor in it is the same guy who's in like Peaky Blinders and all that shit, right?
Oppenheimer. He's who played Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer. Yep.
No, he was in something before Peaky Blinders.
Yep. So he did this, right? But there's a really cool scene where these zombies are running at him, and they're running full fucking speed, and they kind of close up to their feet. There's no fucking feet. The feet are gone. They're just running on leg bone because they're so filled with adrenaline and rage that they're pushing forward. Such a good fucking zombie movie.
If you turn into a zombie, you wouldn't have to lose your feet to run like that. You're already caught and heel.
Did you see that?
I like how we're just ignoring him.
I got my shins blew off. King of the Hill. Side note.
Coming back.
Side note. I know every episode of King of the Hill back to front. You can start one, and I can tell you which episode it is and the plot of that episode. It's ridiculous.
And it's coming back.
I heard. I hope they don't ruin it. Did you hear also on the
Johnny Hardwick died, so nobody knows who's going to be Dale.
Do you know what's a great comeback story? Kim Kardashian, because I'm pretty sure he came on her back. Anyway,
that's right.
Boom, Parks and Rec reference. Good call. Good call.
Not mine.
And that was an outtake, and everybody, it was great. How did Chris Pratt go from that fucking just weird ass dude on Parks and Rec to being like saving the world from aliens?
Because he's Chris Pratt. That's what he does. He's just
he's amazing.
Yeah.
He also trained velociraptors, which is amazing.
Well, he didn't. I mean, he played it in a movie. Anyways, Red, what were you saying?
Speaking of comebacks, and actually Paul just made a great transition. But speaking of comebacks, did you hear they're making a 28 years later?
Yes. Yeah.
Hope it's good.
I cannot wait. It's the same director, same writer. That dude from Oppenheimer and all that he's going to be playing the same guy. I cannot wait. That is one of my cult classic favorite zombie movie. It's not going to be in my top 3, but it is literally up there. It's so good.
Hey, can we go to a commercial break? I got a tinkle, and I don't want to
Just go tinkle. Anyways, go ahead.
Actually, I'll go when little Alex starts. I'll go
that's
because I don't give a fuck about his shit. But I want to hear the rest of Alex Rudd.
All right, Rudd. What do you got for number 1?
This one's good.
Yeah. We're at number 1. Yep.
Okay. Halloween Town.
Dude.
Hold on. Oh, is that the one from the 80s where like
he stole my number 3?
Yes. I love that fucking movie. You know what competed with that movie was 10 Gun. What was the Corey? One of the Coreys was in the fucking motorized wheelchair and the werewolf was out there.
Oh, Silver Bullet.
Silver Bullet.
Yeah.
Those two right there. Anybody who likes Silver Bullet over fucking Halloween Town probably smoked meth before they were 6.
Was Halloween Town ever in like a movie theater, or was it just like a direct-to-TV movie that became a cult classic?
No
Listen,
idea. We were all young.
Well, we're a little bit older.
Alex is like 10 years younger than us.
No, I'm older than Rudd.
That's what I'm saying. Rudd is like 26 years old.
You said Alex. I thought you meant me.
I'm 31. So Halloween.
I'm 40. He's like 42.
Yeah,
so
you were
Halloween
like 4
Town,
years old when that movie came out.
Halloween Town. The only time I ever saw it was at Blockbuster.
So Halloween Town came out in 1998, and it was a direct-to-TV Disney movie. So it's like blown up into a cult classic.
Yeah,
like a cult classic, and it never made a major picture debut. It's just like that good straight-to-TV Disney movie. Awesome.
It is.
I gotta look this up because I think
it's my number 3. Like transitioning to mine, that's my number 3, and my kids love it because it's goofy, it's nostalgic, it's good. It's good.
It's campy, but it's got a bit of that like 90s. It's made for kids, but still has some shit that scares the piss out of you for like whatever reason they thought that was okay, and it's great. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Halloween Town is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a late 80s movie where the kids are fighting all the Halloween monsters. I cannot remember the fucking name of it.
Monster Squad.
Monster Squad. That's what I was thinking.
You're thinking of Monster Squad.
Yeah.
Also, a really good one.
Real quick.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Just go.
I gotta go take it real quick, but I'm going to say this. Nobody's going to say it, but Hocus Pocus is always up in the top 5 of anything.
Hocus Pocus is in my top 5, but not my. So, spoiler alert, top 3.
Because what's the name from Sex and the City was Honest Food.
She was amazing. My number 3 was Halloween Town because it's very nostalgic. He is, he started this show like, I'm not excited, I'm tired, and he got real rowdy real quick.
Real rowdy. He must have shotgunned a rebel before he walked in.
He must have. So Halloween Town for the same reasons as my number 3. My number 2 is The Craft, which was a witchcraft movie. Mm-hmm. I thought it was cool. They did Light as a Feather, Stiff as a Board. Nev Campbell was in it, and she got super hot at the end, but they all became witches. Ooh. And it was all with like an alternative music score in the mid-90s. It was.
I like it.
It was pretty sweet. As Paul kind of mentioned, I was a really big fan of the movies that could be fun to watch, and then maybe fun to watch later on. They still hold a spot in my heart.
Listen, WandaVision. That's why Elizabeth Olsen.
WandaVision? Wait. I mean, yeah, I get Elizabeth Olsen, but that's a sad movie. That's a sad TV. That's sad as shit. And you just watch it on mute.
That 90s phase where they're like in the 90s, 90s mom flu, dude.
All right. Yeah. She's channeling her Peg Bundy strong during that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And then
Kim Kardashian?
No, Elizabeth Olsen. And then my number 1.
Was that? Is that Mary Kate's sister?
It is. Yep. That was in the Marvel movies.
A much better looking one.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then my number 1 is Lost Boys.
The one that killed the Joker,
absolutely love Lost Boys. I think it is the pinnacle of Halloween movies. It's about vampires.
Movie?
I think it's about vampires.
Oh, yeah, Lost Boys. I was thinking Lord of the Flies. Never mind.
Nope. Lost Boys. And then there's also the best part about it for some reason for me is earlier in the movie, they have a saxophone solo with a dude that just has a big chain around his neck playing the saxophone. on like the Santa Monica Boulevard, where like the boardwalk, which I think is the funniest thing ever. Santa Cruz Boardwalk. I love it.
I want an honorable mention because this
Yes.
Lost Boys for some reason hit a part of my brain that reminded me of this. Do y'all remember Van Helsing?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Wait,
Dude.
like the one with
early
Wolverine?
ones from like,
Yeah, the one with-
the mid
No,
90s.
he's no. He's talking about the one with Wolverine.
Yeah, the one from like the 2000s with Wolverine and like
Hugh
it's like
Jackman.
a movie. It's Hugh Jackman and he's Van Helsing and he's like a vampire killer and a werewolf killer and then Frankenstein shows up and it's one of those movies that was made in like 2003 and you watch it and you go, how does CGI suck worse now than it did then? Because it's like all the CGI is like awesome in that movie and he's like shooting the vampires with like a Gatling gun crossbow and shit. Like that's honorable mention for me. Just
listen, that was a weird time though because that came out the same time as Abraham Lincoln Vampire Killer came out as well, which had the dude from Split, something McCovney, I think is his name, but he plays Abraham Lincoln as a vampire hunter, and it's got great CGI. The rest of the movie sucks, but the action scenes are amazing.
When he's chopping the wood, he's blowing the wood into like 1,000 pieces.
He comes down, he's like, boom, and he's like, I'm not only the leader of my country, but I'm also the killer of vampires.
Fuck that cherry tree.
It's awesome. Do you know that was a book? That was a book before it was a movie. It was like a actual like good book. Yes. Like alternative history, like good read. Like it's not like I wouldn't call it like.
Hold on, I got a fun fact. Not only was it a book, right? It was the author wrote multiple books. There was also Sense and Sea Monsters, which is Sense and Sensibility, but with the Kraken. Nice. But the publisher of it is in downtown Philly, and the author is from Philly, and he lived like a block away from us when we lived in Philly. We used to drink at the bar with him. I have a signed copy of both books. Like he wrote multiple series where he took old timey shit and then made like horror stories with them. It was he was a really funny dude. He was like I was really surprised to find out he was an author.
Do y'all like to read a lot? Do you read any like horror books?
I do.
No,
Paul doesn't read.
Reading shit.
Paul would love to read, but he can't.
That's not true. I can read better than Alex. I can spell better than Alex.
Down that vein real quick, small rabbit hole. I know it's not my show, but I got to go on a rabbit hole. Jurassic Park.
The book. Oh, my God.
Bro, if they made a movie like the book. Oh, my God. Like that scene when fucking what's-his-name gets eaten by the Dilophosaurus is horrifying in the book. Like it gives you like anxiety listening or reading it. You're like, and his belly got split open and he felt the warm sensation of guts hitting his hands.
That's
and you're
what
like,
it is right there.
So
what's funny
Jurassic
is you mentioned the
Park
same
book
thing
was written. The movie was made before the book.
No, Michael Crichton wrote the book in like 89.
No, that's not true.
Before that.
Shut up, Paul. You're an idiot.
I will
Paul.
I will call Harvey.
Call
Weinstein
Michael Crichton right now.
And find out.
Call Michael Crichton and Steven Spielberg.
Real quick before I forget, because I've been trying to get this. I've been trying to think of all the shit, get it out there. But an old school, 80s movie that's cheesy as fuck was the original Sleepy Hollow with Jeff Goldblum. And the greatest part of that whole movie was the original Sleepy Hollow is when Jeff Goldblum gets there and he's talking to these locals about what happened to the other teacher.
Mm-hmm.
The guy was saying, "Oh, they beat him up. They beat him up. This and that." Jeff Goldblum goes, "They assaulted him," and the guy goes, "They assaulted him. I peppered him, and I killed him." It's the headless horseman, Sleepy Hollow, motherfuckers. Why are they? That's not a. It's all right. Never mind. Fuck Sleepy Hollow.
Wrecked him. Hell, like they killed him. That's kind of like one of them redneck things that I'd say. That kind of
assaulted him, I peppered him, and I killed him.
Peppered him, killed him too.
Paul bombed so bad. I love it. He interrupted everything to bomb. That's the best thing ever.
Y'all don't know.
Hey, specifically you, Rudd. Speaking of books. Speaking of books, so do you know? So there was a guy named Matt Brooks, and he wrote a book called World War Z, right?
Oh yeah,
and it became like Nope. Brad Pitt was in the movie. And the movie's not as good, right? But the book is insane, and it has to. The way he wrote it is it's written in snippets of like field journals and investigative interviews from all these different perspectives. And World War Z specifically is about if zombies happened, and they have like it's really famous for like a whole segment of the book called the Battle of Yonkers, which is like legitimately like people trying to use the army and everything to fight off zombies. It's great. And then he really didn't write anything forever. Yeah. About 2 years ago, he came out with a book, and I just finished it. It's called De-Evolution. Ooh. And the book is written in the same manner. It's snippets, it's interviews and journal entries, right? Yeah. But here's the premise is that Mount Rainier in Washington State blew up. And it all centers around an eco suburb that was built up by Mount Rainier. It's all these people from like Silicon Valley. They were going to go up there. They were going to do their thing and like live super eco-friendly in a commune style thing.
A fucking volcano.
Well, it blew up, and they're kind of freaking out. But in the process of that, a volcano is they get cut off from the world. But what it actually drove out of the mountains was a tribe. And I love that it's Rudd, of course, of Bigfoot. Fucking come down.
Let's go. Let's go.
The whole thing starts with these are the accounts of the massacre. Like nobody survives. These Bigfoot fucking kill everybody. And it is graphic. It is he dips in like real like scientific shit about how like
wood,
yeah
like
wood. he dips in like real stuff about like real research papers about comparing Bigfoots to great apes and all this stuff, and he does a fantastic job also with this crazy survival video of all these people who are like in the tech industry. They're not outdoors people. All of a sudden they're cut off from society, and they do have some good parts of the story where they try to like live on their own, be survivalists, but then all of a sudden, like a tribe, a colony, actually, I think is what they use in there. It's like 9 Bigfoot descend on them and torture them for weeks on end. It is fucking phenomenal. It's called De-Evolution, Matt Brooks. It came out in like 2022. It is phenomenal.
I got to read it. All right.
Hey, did Drunkwood make that Bigfoot for you?
Right? He did make that Bigfoot for me, yes.
It looks like Drunkwood's work.
Yeah,
because it's
it looks like Ashley.
It staves and it's awesome.
Yeah, it looks like Ashley.
Love it.
Wow.
Love it. I'm talking about his 48th ex-wife named Ashley. He's got all Ashleys as ex-wives, but the 48th one specifically.
Everybody knows a whore named Ashley.
Whoa! God, look, he's drunk.
What?
Look, what? John, I had nothing to do with this. This is Alex Rudd and Alex and little Alex and big Alex talking shit about you. All I want to say
shit about anybody.
The Bigfoot look.
An awesome human.
Hey, listen, Drunkword, fuck you. You know what? Fuck you, Drunkword.
What he said. You heard.
Come text me. But anyways, Rudd, you should specifically. I would recommend it to Paul. But actually, I read it and then I listened to it because it's on Spotify for like free. Mm-hmm. I actually recommend listening to it because they have different actors for like every voice. Like they do it like an audio drama. So I recommend it that way. No, dude, it's so good. De-Evolution, Matt Brooks. It is, if you like Bigfoot and you want Bigfoot to be actually scary, not some like Harry and the Hendersons, this is the way to go.
Hey, before little Alex goes off onto the next segment.
Sure.
Alex Rudd, you haven't been on since we had the Bigfoot expert, I don't think, or have you?
No, and I am pissed that I didn't get to be a part of it. Like I wanted to. I listened to that.
I thought he was.
We're gonna get it. I thought you were too.
Yeah, right, you did marry, fuck, kill after the Bigfoot expert.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. All right. Yeah.
Never mind then. I was gonna ask you what style does Bigfoot have sex in, but I'm pretty sure I already asked you then.
I would say like, how do monkeys do it? Like.
Monkey style? Different ways.
I've seen them from behind. I've seen
they do it all over the place.
The real question: does he have a dog dick or a human dick?
No, it's an ape dick, so it's got to be humanish.
Yeah.
It's probably not circumcised.
Hold on, we talked about it on that episode because if he's a great ape, great apes actually have small wieners because we talked about it on that episode. Great apes have very little wieners. Chimpanzees have big wieners, and it's because great apes are monogamous. And chimpanzees are not.
Gotcha.
But do they have corn dogs like a sheath, or are they like circumcised from God.
Yeah, they're circumcised because when a baby ape is born, the adult apes come out and they snip them. Yeah, they bite it off and they
But
feed
I
it to
don't know. Like,
No.
is it sheathed or not sheathed?
No, they've
I don't
all
know.
got earthworms, bro. They've all got earthworms.
Oh, the corkscrew from the rhino and the bears and the bees.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
ever watched that in high school, is the weirdest fucking penis ever.
Solid. We're scaring
This
people.
is a Halloween movie.
Did
that
you know
we're-
ducks
we're
have a
in.
corkscrew penis? All right, let's
Yeah.
go on to the next segment.
Yeah.
Ducks are terrible. They are mean as fuck during sex.
Mean as fuck like a duck. That's
Yep.
I've always said.
Well,
Yep.
It rhymes with duck. If you guys don't know,
Cluck, cluck.
you've heard us play this game, Marry, Fuck, Kill, with many a guest on this show. But it actually originated with Rudd because he does a segment on his podcast. And obviously, check out his podcast. It's a ton times better than ours.
Way
But
bigger
he
than
does
ours. Better.
overrated, underrated, right? So we are going to have Rudd on. And I was like, well, how can we put a Bass and Bruce spin on this? And we went with Marry, Fuck, Kill. And you guys have heard this. And he was the first one that we ever did that with. And we did a whole episode of like 20 Marry, Fuck, Kills. It was a great episode. He didn't say fuck once. He said fornicate, frolic, many other words other than
that's
fuck.
where we got all the synonyms for fuck came from that episode.
I brought my thesaurus that night. I was like, man,
He did.
I'm gonna see what I can do with this one.
So in honor of that, and normally we do the standard at this point, we do Bigfoot, aliens, Loch Ness, but that's been done for over a year now, right? Because actually that episode was about a year ago. So for the Halloween episode, Rudd, would you like to marry, fornicate, or kill in the spirit of Halloween? Is it witches, vampires, or ghosts? And by witches, just to be clear, by witches, I don't mean like hot, alternative, cutesy witches. I mean,
no Sarah Jessica Parker wig.
Exactly.
No Elizabeth Olsen in WandaVision.
No, I mean like full warts on the nose, traditional witches.
Yeah.
Ugh.
You kill a ghost? Can we double kill a ghost?
Yeah. Have you ever never watched Supernatural?
No.
You got to burn the possession of the ghost.
2 episodes in a row
that closes.
that he's talked about this show.
You got to burn the. You shut up, Alex. I'm trying to tell him how to fucking kill a ghost. You have got to find the possessions of the ghost that is ghostly alive.
Yeah.
And you have to burn it. And when you burn it, then that releases the ghost to go fucking do whatever else they do besides haunt people.
Also you could just kill it over and over.
Rudd? You have got to watch that. It's a TV series that ran for like 19 years on the CW.
It was made for 16-year-old girls.
No, not at all. It is Jared Padalecki and the other guy, but Jared Padalecki left Gilmore Girls to go star in Supernatural.
Built for 16-year-olds.
It is one of the greatest TV shows. It's one of my most favorite TV shows ever. The bitch ran like 18 years.
Are the witches or are the vampires hot? Are they hot?
Well,
vampires?
of course, yes, yeah.
Hot vampires. Okay.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise vampires.
But the thing with the vampires, because I don't know if you notice in movies, it's never like super hot chick vampires. They're super hot dudes.
Oh no.
Yeah,
they're super at least dudes. One super hot chick vamp because all them chicks in Van Helsing were hot and they were all vampires.
All right,
Jessica,
you're right.
Jessica in True Blood was pretty damn hot.
All right, no, True Blood. You're right. They were hot too. Okay, we'll leave. It's
everybody
ambiguous.
was hot
it could be
in True Blood.
That's true.
Literally everybody in the whole fucking series. Was hot.
I messed up many a sock to that show.
Slicky Stackhouse was a baller.
So I'm gonna kill the ghost. No, I'm
over
gonna
and
kill the
over.
witches. No, I'm gonna kill the witches. I'm gonna kill the witches.
Yeah, me too.
I don't want nothing to do with them bitches.
No,
I got you.
I got 99 problems. Which ain't one.
Hey, put it on a shirt. Put it on a shirt next year on Alex Rudd Fishing. He's gonna have a shirt, and it's gonna be Paul's face on a witch outfit, and it's gonna say 99 problems, and a witch ain't one.
So I'm gonna kill the witches.
Okay.
I'm gonna marry the vampires because I like things that suck. And
Hey-o. See, Bethany must be out on a girls' night because he's
no,
sure
she's in the living room. She knows.
I love this new progression. Every time we get Rudd on, he gets more and more Ruddish, which I enjoy every episode.
he's gonna say fuck in a couple years on this podcast.
Yeah, no shit, right? He's getting. I mean, I think that's worse. He said, "I love things that suck."
Yeah.
All right, and then you're gonna.
I'm gonna fornicate with the ghost because I just feel like there's a lot going on there. Like if you be inside of something, or it can be inside of you.
Yeah,
it's what you're into, but that's a lot.
Yeah.
And so just think about all the options there.
Sounds like a Diddy party. You can be inside of it, and it can be inside of you.
Right? Did you think about the ghost thing? Could actually be like, so let's say you said Elizabeth Olsen's kind of your celebrity crush, right? So imagine all of a sudden she passed away, and you're upset, right? And you're out there fishing, and then all of a sudden you feel a warm embrace behind you. And it's just like the movie Ghost, but it's instead of you molding clay, it's Elizabeth Olsen helping you punch some mats.
Buddy, let me tell you something.
It's just not the only thing we'll get.
Bethany knows. So I've told Bethany, I said the only woman that I would ever leave you for is Dolly Parton circa 1970. Until I saw Elizabeth Olsen as a 90s mom, and then it was Elizabeth Olsen.
Who the fuck is Who is Elizabeth
Look
Olsen?
it up. I think that's funny.
Bitch, I can't. I got.
I was waiting for you to be like, buddy, I've never been so hard on a podcast until now.
I am bricked up on a Thursday evening with you boys, and
I'm okay with it. It is wonderful.
She's
35 years old.
Yeah,
perfect.
Okay, yeah, that's still
an older lady. I have no idea who the hell
Rudd.
this woman is.
She was in the Marvel movies.
Make
I don't watch your stupid ass comic
you're an idiot.
Movie bullshit.
Oh, here I got it. Here, share my screen if I can. I don't know if I can.
I have never.
Oh yeah, look at that.
I have never read a comic book in my entire life.
There you go.
Yep. Too much. Just too much. Absolutely too much. All right. Yep. That's it. That's all you get.
Yeah, I've said this before on this podcast. I have never read I've never held a comic book in my entire life.
Nobody cares. You've never also held a regular book either, dipshit.
He's never held a woman in a gentle way.
You got a GED.
Never held a woman.
My wife's a woman. Are you picking on short people, Rudd?
I am.
Because I will go get her right now, and she will fucking kick you in the nuts.
I think Rudd is saying he doesn't believe the validity of the kids. He thinks that you did it in a cup, and then she brought it somewhere else.
I didn't say it.
Well,
but
hey, that's better than somebody else putting.
That sounds like a terrifying, scary movie for the Halloween. It's Paul really making kids. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm
listen,
a good lover.
We will break down the whole script of that in the Patreon exclusive Last Call with Alex and Alex. This is when I kick Paul off the show. And it's just me and Rudd.
Alex, you fuck you.
It's a screenplay. We're both doing parts, just coming up with characters.
It's like that scene in The Office where we just fucking, it's this fucked up one, but we fuck up, and his name's Powell, but it's supposed to be Paul.
Yeah.
Well, people used to call me Pal.
Oh, that's sad, though, buddy, that you've never read a comic book. Like some of like literature,
stories.
Greatest literature ever written is in the pages of comic books. Like, dude.
I lived in McBee, fucking South Carolina.
You're an adult
there were
now,
no
though.
comic book stores around there. I don't even know if the biggest town next to us had them. I mean, I'm sure they did in Columbia, but the only thing I went to Columbia for was a state fair or football games. Like, I didn't have access to them, and maybe some of our friends had them, but fuck that. We were outside all the time.
Oh, hell, I was outside too. We were reading them outside. Batman Year One. Year One.
Wonderful.
One of the greatest comic books ever made.
I just never got into the comic books.
But even if
you talk about baseball cards, I got every baseball card.
That's dumb. That's dumb.
Every
You're collecting cardboard.
I've ever
it doesn't
gotten
mean
in my
anything.
entire life is still at my house right now. But comic books, no.
I could see people not being into superheroes, right? And that's valid. Like, if you're not into that, but also you're talking about the greatest stories, like the movie 300. Everybody loves that, right? That was based on a Frank Miller comic book that took real historical things.
Accurate for nothing.
Well, there's not, but there are a lot of historical facts in that. Obviously, they're not all the way there.
Facts. That movie
there's facts in there.
Has historical figures.
Yes, snippets.
It's not based on any fucking. Besides the people that were in it and where it was, and even the terrain doesn't work.
Paul, can we all agree, though, that when they stack those bodies up and they push the wall of bodies over on those guys and start slaughtering them, that makes you just want to rip your shirt off and go kill people. Like
I can guarantee you,
dude, the Spartan kick in the
none of us would have been Spartans.
None of us would have been Spartans.
We would have been, we would have been the people bringing supplies up. On
we would have been the guy with the hunchback who wanted to be a Spartan.
I have a spear.
Year Zero is really good, right? When I read comics a lot, I was a big fan of Daredevil. So Daredevil has multiple runs that are really good. It's off the top of my head, but Daredevil has this run where like his identity was released and like his world crumbles. He's like my favorite comic book character because every writer just writes to destroy him as a person. Like that's kind of the running theme, is to destroy the character. But he finds a way, and then he also has to deal with like Catholic guilt on top of all of it. So it makes a very interesting character. I love that guy as a like standard comic book, but comic books are dope. I know they can be seen as kind of not even dorky now. Like I feel like they've like jumped the shark where it's like, oh, like it's very mainstream, right? But you go into some older things are really good. Year Zero is really good. The Dark Knight Returns is really good.
Hey, speaking of Halloween, Batman Long Halloween. Dude, Long Halloween.
I was about to say Long Halloween. That was literally what I was about ready to say. Yes, and it's so good. It's man, that is a really, and actually you can watch it on Apple Plus. They kind of use the art and they animate the voices and they voice acted, but it's a 1-for-1 recreation of the comic book, but they animated it and it's really good. It's really cool.
The new Batman movie, The Batman with Sparkly Vampire Boy. What's his name? I always forget his name. He's a really good actor.
Robert Pattinson,
fantastic actor. He's like a way better actor than I ever thought that he was, like in some of the movies he's been in. But that's pretty much Long Halloween. Like that's storyline is Long Halloween.
Dude, and then also, if you really like that, go watch The Penguin on HBO Max right now.
Dude, I just finished the first episode, and I'm like,
yo.
I've been seeing a ton of shit about the Penguin, and I'm gonna go watch it. I'm finishing.
He doesn't like
Oz
comic books. He doesn't like comic books.
It doesn't matter. I like the movies. Let me finish. I'm rewatching.
Didn't he just say he doesn't like? Okay.
I said the fucking comic books, bitch. I'm rewatching all of Oz right now. Speaking of a horror movie, that's a horror series. But
Oz.
Rud,
buddy.
Oz is one of the series that launched HBO. It preceded
Sopranos.
The Sopranos.
The Wire.
It preceded all that. Matter of fact, a lot of people in Oz were in The Wire.
It's the
Oz
same
is a
director and
show.
writer.
It went 7 years, I think. But Oz was one of the first series, and all of the series that we have now. Oz was one of the catalysts.
What's it about?
And it was it's a prison show. So the synopsis, because we don't need to get it all in. It's prison show. They have Oswald State Penitentiary, and in that they have Emerald City, where they're trying to get all these convicts in there, and they're trying to do different stuff to rehabilitate them to go out into the world. But it's a prison show on steroids.
But it's on HBO. It's on HBO, so you see everything.
Yeah.
So hold on. There's some big stars in it though. So like the guy from SVU, the guy cop he's in it, right? And then Jake Jameson, the guy who played Jake Jameson in the Spider-Man movies, he's in it. And at one point, that guy who is a Nazi in that show gets done having sex with another male inmate and then brands him with a swastika on his ass to prove that he's his property. Like it goes into deep prison shit. It is fucking intense.
It's crazy.
It does not hold
It has
up
the guy
well,
from the original Ghostbusters as the warden.
We all agree, though, the greatest HBO series ever made, and probably the greatest series ever made in the history of mankind up to this point. Band of Brothers.
Yes.
Oh, that's easy.
I don't consider that. I agree 100%.
I
agree 100%.
At the end, the whole night. Like man cry, like it's one of them movies you're sitting there and you're like the greatest fucking generation ever. They killed Nazis, they won the war, It's the whole thing. You're watching the original guys talking about it, and you realize like all those dudes are gone now, and we're never going to be able to talk to a dude who fought in World War II again. And you're just like, the music, the soundtrack, the directing, the acting, perfect. It is perfect from beginning to end.
I know what Paul's going to say. That, hold on.
I will say, hold on,
ahead, Paul.
I will say this. I set that apart from like the series.
Yeah, it's a limited
series.
It's
historically accurate. I set it apart from the series on that. There's a lady whose grandpa was Bill Garnier, and she's on TikTok, and she posts a ton of stuff on TikTok. And in the early 2000s, they were having reunions, and so she was all a part of that. She was helping put it up as Bill Garnier's granddaughter, and her and I are friends and have communicated on TikTok from that, because I was a peace, war, and defense major in college. We've talked about that. I had a class that took quite a few classes on World War II. One of them, we took Stephen Ambrose's book, Band of Brothers, and that was a book that we spent like a third of the class talking about and writing papers on. So I did in-depth studies on a lot of that stuff. I can't remember all of it now, but yes, that was unbelievable. And it came out about the same. It came out like a year or two before I took that class. And so it was really good. And the professor that is an old professor I had for this. And so he was very in tune with all of that, because he was, he was a kid during that time, but as a history major. Yeah. But Band of Brothers is great. I will say the greatest series ever is The Wire. If we're talking about series,
so I would to rewind back. Like, I think me and Paul on the same leg here, where Band of Brothers is a limited series, so I don't put it in the realm of their full TV shows
unto itself.
Yeah. And the Pacific was unbelievable.
Another one, Generation Kill. Actually, I think is better than Pacific. I think Generation Kill. Have you guys seen that one or no?
Yes. Yeah, but that was more of a series that ended earlier, though.
No, it wasn't. It was 7 episodes. No, it wasn't. It was 7 episodes. That was it. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about. 7 episodes, Paul.
John Adams.
I'm still gonna say Grey's Anatomy if we're going like episodic and still going. Grey's Anatomy.
No, I mean like something going like longer. I think those are special. Yeah. And
John
HBO
Adams
was
a fucking another one.
It was a good one too.
I don't remember if that was Showtime or HBO, but
it was
John
HBO.
Adams was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah,
John Adams was good. I hope they do the Penguin. I hope it's like we get the Penguin. Builds a story. We get another Batman movie, and then like they don't try to mess with it anymore. Because I do like the like gangster movie or the gangster style that is. It reminds me of
Tracy's type movie.
Well, that's like the Batman. It was like kind of very gangsterish, very like investigative, like mystery building. This, going through all the pieces. Where the Penguin so far is just like Sopranos gangster movie.
Yes,
like,
it's a Sopranos in a Gotham, basically. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And I hope they do like one season of it, make it really badass, and then do another.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, they got signed on for 2 more. So you shit out of luck on that.
Hey, speaking of Batman, who, in y'all's opinion, who was the best Batman and all the Batman movies? What actor was the best?
And just
Batman?
So we're clear, everybody, we're talking about Batman, which is a bat, which makes it Halloween themed. So we're on topic.
Batman.
Who was your favorite?
I'm not
actor
wearing
in
hockey
Batman
pants.
Movies?
I swear to God, I don't know anything. Swear to me. Greatest line. And he's holding that guy upside down. He's like, I swear to God, I don't know anything. Swear to me.
See, in that same scene, my favorite is like, what's the difference between me and you? I'm not wearing hockey pants.
Yeah. So good, dude.
I love it.
You want to know, I don't think he's the best Batman, but I wish we'd have got more was Ben Affleck.
Okay.
Dude,
whoa.
Listen.
You can tell. Hold on. You could tell Rudd runs his own podcast and a YouTube channel because he went straight controversial with this fucking topic right here.
Well, it's the whole that Batman versus Superman was not a great movie.
No,
it was
bad.
complicated front to back. The whole storyline where both their moms have the same name. No spoilers.
I love it. I love it.
Weirdest thing. You know what I
mean?
I
also didn't realize it until the movie.
Yeah. But you have to admit when they first introduced Batman, The cops are in the house and they're going, and it's a house full of like sex slaves. Like these women are being trafficked, and Batman's in this house just beating the dog shit out of everybody in there, branding them with the bat symbol. It's dark, it's scary, and that cop shines that light up in that corner, and he's like up in the corner like the bat, and then falls across the ceiling. Dude, that whole thing, and
that's
then
cool as shit.
The voice, like I think it was the coolest Batman voice because it was like this.
But he never did that again. He only did it in that one scene. That one scene was so fucking dope. And then he never did it again. Yes. And then he never did it again.
Imagine a whole Batman movie like that. Like
it'd be great.
He's big and he's jacked and he's like Batman. You know what I mean? Yeah. But if I have to go best Batman of all time, I'm gonna go Christian Bale, dude.
Yeah.
Like that
without a doubt.
Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, The Dark Knight Rises.
So good.
Those three movies are cinematic masterpieces. The Dark Knight may be it's top 5 greatest movies of all time. Whoa. That thing front to back is a masterpiece, and Heath Ledger played the best Joker that we'll ever have. Period.
Listen, I like to argue, and I should play devil's advocate, but I will not. Christian Bale he is Batman. He plays it perfectly. He gave it everything that needed to have. You know what I mean? Like he played all of it perfectly. It was written perfectly, and he executed perfectly. The villains were perfect between Ra's al Ghul in the first one. I can't remember that actor's name. He played that great, though.
Liam Neeson.
Liam. There it is. Ooh, and then
Liam Neeson in the late 90s and early 2000s played some fucking scary-ass roles.
And he was Qui-Gon Jinn in Star Wars, which was just
He
awesome.
was. And then in the second movie, Heath Ledger. Hold on, Heath Ledger in the second movie, best Joker ever, right? And then even I just forgot his name. What's his name? Bane.
Play Bane.
He's in the Venom movies now, and he's done a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
But that whole thing, actually, I don't even think he was the best character. I think the best semi-villain was Catwoman in that one. It was wonderful. They're all 3 wonderful movies. 1, 2, 3, perfect in a block. I actually just rewatched it last week. All 3 of them together in the same day. It was the best Friday I've ever spent.
So good, dude. Like,
no, it goes. You adopted to the darkness. I was born in it. We used to make. We used to do jokes in that. When that came out, I was underway on a Coast Guard cutter at that time. We watched it randomly in San Diego, and then we went up to Alaska. And then the running theme was every time we got to a bar and you finish a beer, you took the pint glass and you put it over your mouth and you went, I was born in the darkness, as you had it on your mouth. But no, those are great movies. They're great. And then I would actually, to be controversial, I would think Robert Pattinson is probably number 2. I like what he's doing in the new one. He's playing a young Batman who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And he's still like edgy and emo from his parents dying. I think it's really good. I don't know how we got into deep dive on Batman. I love Batman.
Love it. Yeah, I do too. I mean, dude, the greatest line ever, and I use this all the time, one of the greatest lines ever came from a Batman movie, and it's when the Joker says, and it's like the truest thing about the world today, is you blow up a whole truck full of soldiers and nobody blinks an eye, but you kill one little politician and the world loses their mind. And it's like, dude, that right there. And then when they ask him, like, why are you doing this? He's like, I don't know. I just do things. And it's like, it's true madness. It's the true mind of a madman. Like, it's awesome.
Dude, that movie was so good too, because if anybody who's actually like read the comic books, like there's that whole debate of like, and it's a stupid fucking debate because it's a made up obvious series, right?
Really are.
But the whole thing is like, if there was no Batman, would you still have the Joker, right? Yeah. And the debate is that the villains in Gotham escalated themselves because of Batman. So Batman was there to help, but due to his presence, it made everything else escalate, right? Yeah. And specifically, I can't remember. I think it was Bob Kelly is his name. He wrote these into it, and he wrote it in as this like I'm trying not to break our rules on here, but he wrote it into here, and it had to do with like the escalation of police force in the 80s, right? Yeah, when police forces started getting armored vehicles, and they started getting these military grade vehicles for what was supposed to be a peacekeeping mission, which is a police officer, right? But when they escalated, so that's why he wrote these things into the Batman series, and then it translated into this whole thing of like, well, if we're gonna get worse villains when the superhero, like, it's this whole dichotomy, and I'm trying not to break my rules here, but yeah, it's
a badass.
Yeah.
Like, I know what you're talking about, and it's
I love Batman so
Yes.
much. Batman's my favorite, and I did hear really sad news where they're gonna try to rope Robert Pattinson and that whole realm into this whole new DC thing with James Gunn, where he's gonna try to do what he did with Marvel. I think Batman's been so good because they left him the fuck alone, and when they tried to bring him in, the movies didn't do well. Just leave him alone. Let Batman do Batman shit. Let Superman do Superman shit over there. But honestly, leave Batman alone. Let him do his dark, brooding, emo, My Chemical Romance. That was my favorite part.
bloody pulps. Like, let it be. Because that's what the comic books are. It's just like, he's a dude, his parents got killed, he's dark, he's broody, he wears eye makeup, and he beats people into pulp. Like, that's what does it.
I hated it when he was in like Justice League, and he's like, I'm gonna solve the cosmos. Like, bro, you just throw a batarang and you're rich. You can't do shit. Just keep fighting pedophiles and drug dealers. I love it. Do it. Like,
brand pedophiles, send them to prison, have people beat them to death on your behalf so you don't have to kill them. It's the greatest thing ever. Like, just do it.
It really is. And I mean, the only thing better is that Paul loves to watch their movies. So, not Batman, pedophiles. Anyways,
God, that's rough.
Paul, you locked in? Are you coming back?
I'm trying to find a Liam Neeson movie, but I can't. It was the one.
It's
where
called
he was
Taken.
The bad...
It's called Taken, and it's when he's like, I have a very special set of skills. All right, Rudd, let's get back to Halloween.
Yes.
Okay.
That was a rabbit hole and a half right there.
It really was.
That wasn't a rabbit hole. We went down a big old thick vein on that one.
I know. I love it. That's why we have Rudd on. I love it. Anyways, what are your top 3 worst Halloween candies?
Worst Halloween candies?
Yeah. Like, you're out trick-or-treating. What are the 3 things you do not want to see?
You come home, you dump your bucket out, you're like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Number 3 is going to be those like chalky, like you think they're sweet tarts, but they're those chalky bullshit.
I fucking love those.
Nikos.
I love those fucking things.
I hated those things, man, because I thought they were sweet tarts. You'd pop that bitch in your mouth, and you're like, "This is a Tums." I didn't ask for it.
It's not Nico. It's the heart-shaped ones that you got
Paul.
that tasted like toothpaste.
Oh no,
Paul. No, it's Nico's is what he's talking about. That's literally like the 4th time this year we've talked about Nico's.
Nico's a wafer, though. But
that's what he's talking about.
But you're talking about the little hearts, Alex, right?
No. I'm talking about it looked like a sweet tart, and I would always take them backwards and pop them in thinking they were sweet.
Nico.
It was
a Nico wafer. It's a Nico wafer.
It's a dusty Tum. It tastes like a mothball smells. Like, it's just horrendous.
If you ever had Pepto-Bismol chews, that's what they were.
Exactly. I loved them. I thought they were good. All right, what's number 2, Rudd?
No bueno, bro. No bueno. Number 2 is going to be candy corn. I despise candy corn. It's sugar. It's sugar. If I wanted sugar, I'd eat a spoonful of sugar. That's what I would eat. I'm not a big candy corn guy.
Chewy sugar.
Yeah, it's chewy sugar. The third was going to be like any sort of like black licorice. Black.
Wow, really?
Listen. Yeah, any kind of black licorice. Like, I just do nothing. I got nothing for it. That, or like any of the, like, you know what I'm talking. It's like not even like, like those like hard, like super like chewy, like licorice-y candies.
The old school candy. The candy that our parents thought was good because that's the only fucking candy they got.
Now and later.
No, fuck that. Now and later. Sounds
like you're
delicious.
popping your finger every time you bite a piece off of it because it's so hot. No. So that's my top.
Paul, what do you got?
Top 3.
All right, I'm gonna go circus peanuts.
Oh God, I'm egging that fucking house.
Fucking they're pretty much stale marshmallows.
Yeah, fuck that house. I'm fucking that house.
Stale marshmallows. That's great. That's exactly what it is.
Stale marshmallows. I'm gonna say, at the time as a child when we would go trick or treating, Almond Joys may be the most sad in the entire fucking world.
My buddy bought an almond joy at the damn gas station the other day. I was like, bro, an almond joy? I was like, what are you, 85? I was like, you want
Why
real
is
candy?
that? Yeah, I mean they're
I
good
mean-
like once, and then you're like, I'm good for the year.
You're like, oh, that's an almond joy. I remember why I don't like these.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ugh.
you know, I don't mind them now, but as a child, they were
Yeah.
terrible. And then I'm taking it super old school, and I can't. It was so little Alex and I will know this, and Rudd, maybe 10 years you maybe never got these, but they used to have these wax bottles.
Oh,
Or
the
at
whole
Halloween,
fucking
they would
goddamn
have the-
Coke bottles.
They would have the wax.
Yeah.
They would have the wax like teeth.
Lips and
Yeah,
teeth.
lips. Yes, and it was literally like fucking the wax that people with braces put on there,
Yeah,
but it was
dude.
filled with a creamy,
Yeah.
like red substance.
And you swallowed a small piece and thought, this is it. This is how I die.
Yeah.
This is how I die.
Look,
It's gonna be
it
in my body
looked-
forever.
It looked very appealing, but
Yeah.
when you put it in your mouth, it was like I don't even know. I've never had cum in my mouth, but I would feel like that's what it was like.
Oh, nice try, Diddy. Nice try.
Nice try. That was a good comeback.
But those wax bottles or those wax lips were probably.
I'm sorry
the
for our
worst shit.
7 female listeners.
That's rough as a son of a bitch right there. son. Eat like a
so-
bat.
All right, I'm gonna go off of. I mean, I know I said the question candy. I'm gonna go off of just straight up trick or treating. So number 3 was that fucking stupid house that gave out stickers. Fuck you. It's a sticker.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Yep.
Right. Number 2 was the house that gave out pencils. Again, fuck
Double.
you.
Double.
Exactly. And then number 1, and it might it might be controversial. I grew up in an area that was kind of religious, and I get it.
Bibles.
Yep. So we got fucking like scripture pamphlets.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
where I grew up,
Yeah.
we had some people that would give us the little teeny pocket New Testament.
Yeah, no. This was just like a little
Yep.
comic book about how the Halloween let the devil into your home. And I get it. If that's your deal, I get it. But guess what? I'm just an 8-year-old out there trying to hustle to get high on candy. I don't want to get preached by the Lord. So they're number 1 in my book. It was the biggest Debbie Downer in my eyes.
I had a kid in one of my classes that brought those for his Halloween treat.
Oh,
Because-
no.
Made him bring in it's a pamphlet that tells you you're going to hell, and it literally had a Jewish man in it with a big nose whose name was
Oh, no.
was like Rabbi Goldman or something, Goldman or something like that. I was like, this is the most racist, horrible thing that I've ever
Oh.
seen.
Did y'all have folk? Did y'all
Oh.
go to school with kids that didn't celebrate Halloween like
Yeah,
they,
Jehovah Witnesses.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter what their
Mormons?
religion
Sure.
is, but just in
Yeah.
general,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I had some people from my church where I grew up in that didn't celebrate Halloween. Like they would go out and eat, and they would try to stay away from the house. So that
Yeah.
their
My
kids
cousins
weren't-
were like that. They were
Yeah.
weird. They weren't allowed to watch SpongeBob, and if they came over to the house and I was listening to like Van Halen, they're like, "You're going to hell." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"I'm actually named after the drummer." So I mean, I guess
I
tell my
just, I never understood that.
Ozzy
That's not my
Osbourne's
deal.
on next, bitch.
Yeah,
Pocket
right.
Moon.
Wait, hold on. He just talked about Avenged Sevenfold. Put that on. They're gonna scream and now I know this.
We had a neighbor that gave out bananas every Halloween. It was right across the street. One of the first stops.
Nice try.
Gave-
Nice
gave
try.
out
That's all I'm saying.
gave out bananas. Had
Creepy.
an organ in her house and would be playing the organ when you walked up and gave out bananas.
Did he ever ask you to open it and eat it on
No,
his?
it wasn't a he, it was a she. It was a single old
Did
lady.
she ever ask you to open it up and make it disappear real
No.
quick?
Nice
Okay.
try, nice try, Diddy. That's all I'm saying. Nice try.
That's not
No.
Diddy. Yeah. Well, that's
at
not
all.
a Diddy. That I mean, you know, if he showed up and she was like, "Hey, I got you this banana. If you can peel it and get it down in one bite, you get a little extra sugar."
Are we going to go into like crazy shit we've seen on the water around Halloween? Because I've got a story.
I want to hear it.
Tell
Yep.
it
Go right
right
into
now.
it. Right
We're gonna
into
go
it.
right there right now?
Perfect
Gate-
segue. Perfect
Okay.
segue.
Gate,
Hold
see-
on. Do
see
you want spooky music? Because I can do
No,
that.
no.
Yes.
Right?
First one, I'll give you an initial one that's not spooky, just crazy, and then we'll do an actual spooky one that I experienced. How about that?
Go.
All right. I'll stop the
Okay.
music. I was really excited about this music. I
It's
found.
your
Go ahead.
podcast now.
So thank you.
Welcome
Anyway,
to the Alex Rudd podcast on
Yes.
Bass and Brews.
podcast. Thank you very much. Every
Yep.
Friday night live, 9 p.m. Eastern on the YouTube channel, Alex Rudd Fishing. Come on by. It's better than this one. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Actually,
It is. No,
podcast.
it is.
I love your guys'
100%.
podcast for the fact that we're an hour and 53 minutes into this thing, and we're just now getting into creepy stories on the water. I love this. This is
You're dyslexic. It's an hour and 35 minutes.
It's hour 35.
hour 35. I am very dyslexic. Anyway, so one day I'm fishing on Watts Bar Lake.
Yes.
I got earphone in one ear because I often fish listening to a podcast because that's just what I do. I'm not got anybody to talk to anyway, so I'd be talking to myself, and people think I'm crazy when I do that. But anyway, so I'm flipping down through these docks, and this is like playing into creepy old woman, but this wasn't a creepy old woman. But anyway, so I'm flipping. I do have a creepy old woman story though, but I'm flipping down through these docks, and I catch a fish, and I'm talking to my camera. It's a good fish. I'm flipping, and I'm like in the zone, just like fishing, having a good time. And I hear this person go, "Hi," and I'm like,
What?
Butt naked, no joke.
Oh.
Butt naked, sitting crisscross applesauce on a
Good for
towel
you.
on the dock.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I'm like,
I have dreams
like,
about this.
"Hi," and she's like, "It's a beautiful day, isn't it?" I'm like, yeah, it's a pretty day outside. And she's like, "You catching any fish?"
You're like, just clams.
I'm just man, catching a few here and there, smelling a lot more than I'm seeing.
I caught a couple of titties. I mean, a bass.
Yeah,
Bass.
they're in here. I've heard there's some big tits. I mean, teeners in this lake.
It's real fishy in this area.
I'm like, and she just like has this conversation with me as I am just trolling
Good
by
for
her
you.
dog,
Was she
fishing.
high?
No, not really. Not really.
Well,
Bummer.
Yeah, now I do have there's this old woman. Every time we went, I think she's dead now because she was old. Every time we went by her dock, she was like 70, and she would sunbathe topless. And she would go, "Well, hey boys, I'd love to take a ride in your boat." Every
Hell
and anytime she did have on a bathing suit, she had on a red, white, and blue one-piece bathing suit with a thong bottom on it. I'll never
God
forget.
bless America.
Sounds like you missed an opportunity for a viral YouTube video.
I was before I started YouTube, which this makes me sad. And I do have the clip of the naked lady. I just never figured out how to incorporate it completely on YouTube.
What you do is you put
just
it on
post it.
Pornhub.com, the Alex Rudd fishing channel there.
Yeah, and just make all kinds of money. Because there would be somebody, dude, that feverishly beat their meat to that and watch it a million times, and I would make a ton of money. So there's that. It's probably going to be Paul is who it's going to be.
No, I don't watch
welcome
porn.
to
I
your
got a wife at
retirement
home.
plan.
That's right.
What?
That's right. Yeah.
What?
5.5 million. What happened to Rudd? He got some of that fuck yourself money.
He showed
How did
he
he
showed
get so rich?
boobs.
He showed
He
some
showed
old
boobs on
ladies'
a
titties.
video, and
Yeah.
now he's too good for everybody else.
Yeah,
He's hanging out with Elon.
Yeah, he owns a house in the Bahamas, and he just every time we ask him on the podcast, he just texts back, "Eat shit," and that's it.
Yeah.
Every
He's like,
time
"Do y'all
he
have
texts
boobs?" And little Alex is like, "Paul's got like double D's."
double D's.
Double D's.
Yeah, but every time he
nipples
texts
are
me,
bigger, my
it's a
boobs,
bunch
but-
of weird letters, and he goes, "Oh, sorry, it's hard to type with all this Diddy loop. I just can't figure it out."
These Diddy party. Oh no.
All right,
no.
what's your creepy story? What do you got?
Okay, so completely true story. I was on Lake Mountain Hill one time, night fishing. Okay. And now Mountain Hill, the thing about Mountain Hill and in the area around Mountain Hill is it's Oak Ridge, Tennessee. And for you guys that don't know anything about Oak Ridge, Tennessee, that is where the Oak Ridge National Lab is at. And the Oak Ridge National Lab is where they enriched the uranium for the original atomic bomb. We're actually, if you watch the whole Oppenheimer movie, the whole nine, we're the first people to get it done. That was who did that. Well, they didn't just do that. As time passed on, and we got into more wars, and we got into aliens and all the other shit that we do. Now Oak Ridge National Labs is home to some of the craziest stuff in the whole entire world, including a hadron collider. So we have our own small hadron collider here, and we do all kinds of crazy stuff. So there's no telling what's really going on out at Oak Ridge. It's probably one of the most heavily guarded places in all of the nation. But Mountain Hill Lake bumps right up to Y12, which is one of the plants out there. There's 3 of them. So, not fishing on Mountain Hill one time and standing there fishing, dragging a shaky head on a point, and an orb just appears in the sky. And then it disappears. And then another orb appears in the sky.
What?
And it disappears. And then another orb appears in the sky. And then it disappears. And then an orb appears like in the woods on a ridge, goes through the woods, and then disappears. And we're standing there just like trying to comprehend, like, what are we seeing here? What is this? What's going on?
P. Diddy?
Is that P. Diddy? Is that him? And
Are
so
we about to get violated?
not long after that, here comes a Black Hawk helicopter, like low. Like I'm talking so low that it shakes the treetops, screaming up the lake, like coming through the valley, going right towards where the orbs were at. Screams over there and drops over the ridge and starts doing circles and is like circling the whole entire place, right? Well, as he's circling, orb appears, then disappears. Another orb appears and then disappears. And these orbs would just like, you can go out there and see them. Like you go out there, even still to this day, if you go out there at night and you sit long enough, you'll see one of those orange orbs. I have no idea what they are.
That's
I don't
weird.
know where they come from, but like you can look up like creepy stories about Oak Ridge.
Yeah.
Orange orbs are one of the first things that's going to pop up. And like there's so many glowing lights out there. There's things that you see at night, hear at night, things that, and the thing about all of that property is, so like if you're on Mountain Hill Lake, what's crazy is if you're going down the river channel towards the dam, everything on your right for the entirety of the lake almost is heavily guarded, like Department of Energy land, and like they're guarding some who knows what out there.
That's some crazy shit.
Legitimately, who knows what. Like I've heard stories, I don't know how much of it's true, but like they're working on being able to erase people's memories right now to make it more efficient at the compartmentalization of the jobs that the people do out there.
I saw that TV show. I'll volunteer so I can just forget Paul at this point. That'd be wonderful.
So, to add on to Oak Ridge.
Hold on real quick. The spooky music made that sound so fucking cool.
It
did.
It really did.
It did work.
I mean, it'd be really awesome if I edited clips actually properly. Like, we'd go real famous, but I'm too lazy to do that. So I hope you guys enjoyed that because you're only going to hear it if you listen to the whole thing.
So, to speak about Oak Ridge, I worked at a place, Savannah River site. Oak Ridge enriched uranium. Savannah River site enriched plutonium. And I worked there for, I don't know, 8 years, 7 years, whatever the fuck it was. 5 years, whatever. And
anyways,
the one of the planes that dropped the atomic bombs is buried out there somewhere. Not as a whole plane. It was broken down,
buried in pieces.
Buried in pieces.
That's crazy.
But they have like there's so much shit out there. And I worked out there, and I never saw anything creepy or weird. And we'd be out there at night doing burns or having a wildfire or some shit like that. But those places have some weird shit. Like we'd be driving down the road to go put fire lines in somewhere, and we'd roll up, and there'd be this fucking weird ass robot out the middle of this site with people around it, and we'd have to go by it. But yeah, there's weird ass shit that goes on out around those places.
Well, I'll tell you a story that this is like, obviously the orb story is true, but this is like one of those stories like, well, I've got a completely verifiable story that you can Google. And then I've got a story from when my dad was still alive and he worked out there. So my dad sold CNC cutting tools. A lot of people don't know that anyway, but anyway, he sold tools, cut metal, essentially is what they did with those tools. So the Oak Ridge National Labs called him and brought him into one of their facilities, and he had to go through like 4 checkpoints, dudes with M4s, dogs, the whole nine, like they're looking under your car, like with the bomb mirrors, the whole nine. Like it's that
every morning I went to work. That's what the fuck happened.
Yeah. I mean, it's legit security. So he went out there, went into a facility. They walked him into a room. He said it was a white room with no windows. they walked in. They said, we have to blindfold you, put this bag over your head, and we're going to lead you to what we need you to look at. And my dad's like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So they blindfold him, walk him into another room where he can hear machines running around him, but can't see anything. Take the blindfold off. He's in a square, like 4x4, like curtained area. Like the curtains are all the way around him. He can't see anything else around him. Piece of metal is laying on a desk. They go, we need to know how to mill that. And he goes, well, what is it? So we can't tell you that's classified. He goes,
No.
yes. He goes, what atomic number is it? I can't tell you that's classified. He's like, well, what's the density? Can't tell you that, it's classified. And he's like, well, I can't. Can I touch it? They said, no, you can't touch it. And he's like, well, I don't know. I can't help you with this. I got to have some data here to be able to make a recommendation of what kind of tool that you want. And they go, okay, well, give us a minute. Let us go make a phone call and see what we can tell you. So he says they disappear for like 10 minutes, and he's just standing there for 10 minutes, like by himself. Dude standing in the other corner, just standing there looking at him. Guy won't talk to him because he's just like a security guard, not supposed to talk to him. Guy comes back and goes, okay, we can tell you that it's denser than steel, but not as dense as tungsten.
Wow. Okay.
And my dad's like, okay, well, try it between this and this with this tool or this tool and see which one works, because I don't know what else to tell you. They go, okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Blindfold him, walk him back into the white room. So he gets all his stuff, goes into another room, but before he can pass out the front door, he's got to go through like this yellow chamber that is going to scan him for radiation. Walks into this yellow chamber. His shoes are hot, his pants are hot, his socks are hot, and his underwear are hot. They take them all from him, strip him down to literally his work shirt, and then they give him a pair of like hospital pants and hospital booties. And he walked out of there immediately. I'll never forget it because my mom tells the story. Like, she's so funny when she tells the story because like she like goes full blown like redneck. She's like, I told him to never go out there again. he said he called my mom, was like, I'm never coming out here again. And she's like, I told you never go out there. And yeah, that's like a true story from Oak Ridge. And what's crazier is not long after that is when they got the Hadron Collider. And this is a verifiable story. You can Google it. Opened up a portal to
where?
They don't know where.
Yeah.
Portal opened it up for like half a second, which helped them to figure out that the element that Bob Lazar said was real in his original story was actually real. And that element has now been verified. It's element 115, I think, and it's called the Tennessean element. Because it was discovered at Oak Ridge National Lab.
So crazy. I remember. Yeah. That shit's crazy.
So we had a wildfire, lightning strike. They got into a wildfire down in a creek. And it got down. So it started up above the creek and it burnt down. It wasn't a bad wildfire. It wasn't big. But we spent 3 or 4 days having to mop it up, right? So no smokes. And they've got all these sensors out there testing the air. They're testing the air going into Augusta, North Augusta, South Carolina, all these areas. They're like, if this air is this and that, blah, blah, blah. And we're in briefing, and they're talking about all the air going to these towns. And one of the guys looks at me and goes, what the fuck about us? Because we're ground zero.
In it, yeah.
So for it was 3 or 4 days, I guess. I was a dozer operator, so I was in. We had certain places that we had to stop. We couldn't go. We could not disturb the ground anymore with bulldozers and stuff. But at the end of every day, our equipment, the bulldozer and us, had to all get tested before we could leave during all this stuff. Now, none of us had anything hit, but it was apparently at some point
freaks
there was
you out no matter what. Like it makes you realize.
It freaked me. I thought that shit was cool as fucking fuck.
Of course
man.
he did. Of course he did. It's Paul.
Geiger counters.
Paul's like,
I'm
gonna be fucking Spider-Man after this with a web shooter dick.
Is
after
my
him.
pecker going to be longer than 3 inches
Exactly.
after this? Because if there's long-term effects, let me know. But in the meantime, in the short time, I'm going to be excited.
All right,
Those are weird places. Those government facilities like that are weird, and especially when you have Oak Ridge, and then you have SRS where the height of the Cold War where shit, and the other one is out in New Mexico that had a huge fire out there back in like 2012 or something.
He's always talking about wildfires. He always is.
But I mean, this is for real shit, man. They get out
I think that's what makes it the scariest. Like, going back to Halloween, scary movies, scary shit that's most real is what scares the piss. Like, what's the movie where they knock
The Exorcist?
The door?
Like that shit could be like, if you think about The Exorcist and all the shit with religion,
depending on your religion, that could be real.
You think about that, and are you more scared of Jason Voorhees or fucking Freddy Krueger, or are you more scared of a possession? Well, a possession seems like it's more viable than fucking Freddy Krueger or Jason coming out.
Well, I don't like that movie. Like, is it Strangers, where they kill them? They try to get in the house and they're trying to kill them.
That's a ton of them. That's like every horror movie.
But it's like the one where they're like they got the mask on and like they like interrupt the family dinner and they shoot the
Purge.
Not the Purge. No. I don't know.
Oh, you might be talking about Stranger.
It's like Wrong Turn.
Stranger.
Wrong Turn is so fucking scary because
that's not what he's talking about.
That's the kind of shit that.
Dude, Wrong Turn doesn't scare me. You want to know why Wrong Turn doesn't? Because I always got a gun with me. Screw with me.
Well, also, Wrong Turn doesn't scare Rudd because that's like 2 blocks from his house. It's not. He was the right turn.
That's probably his kinfolk.
Turn out of my driveway and I'm Jimmy, how you doing, buddy?
Right.
Yeah. They don't bother us because we're family. The guys from New York that get lost, y'all got problems. But that's just a Carl. He's fucking weird.
All right, boys. I've got it right here for you. I've got the scariest story ever.
This is probably gonna suck.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you the story of yet another podcast talking about forward-facing sonar. Because nobody wants to fucking hear about it. I'm just joking. Hey, everybody, it's been Bass and Bruce. It's been a good time.
Add to Bailey's forward-facing sonar swear jar.
Listen, forward-facing sonar is the most overdone thing on any podcast or YouTube video, and I've decided that's the scariest thing to talk about during Halloween.
Holy shit, Alex
is forward-facing.
Big Alex has a ghost. His fucking his whole background just fell.
Have mercy, I just experienced a ghost. Okay.
Oh, Pops wanted in. No, Pops wanted in on the podcast.
Yeah, he was like, "Quit telling all my cool stories."
Oh, shit.
That's classified.
All right, everybody. You know where to find us. You can find Rudd as he's trying to fix his picture.
I'm here somewhere.
You can find him. Rudd, where can we find you?
Alex Rudd Fishing on everything. Just Google it. You'll see my ugly mug in a little cartoon form with an orange background. That's me. Come check it out. Just dropped a video a couple days ago with me paddling past 2 guys sitting in a creek listening to Alice in Chains. So you need to go check that out.
In a truck. They were sitting in a truck.
In a truck, in a creek, Alice in Chains.
That's
pretty
perfect.
Fucking awesome.
And again, you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/Bass and Brews. Other than that, have a spooky season. Fuck off.
Down in the hole.